I'm Gemma Baskerfield and I run our website at the moment, and I've worked here for just over 6 years, I think. Obviously I love working for the company, but the fact that we're in this building plays a big part of that, because it's such a beautiful building to work from. This office that we're sitting in at the moment was the general office, so it used to have all the secretaries and everybody sitting in here, and then the private office was over to the side, and the sales office was behind, and it was a fully functioning office system. But then as the dry rot slowly made its way in, then it's become quite problematic to work in here. In some ways I'm pleased, because we'll be in a nice warm office and we'll have carpet underfoot, and you know, we'll have everything we need. In another way it's quite sad, because you know, it'll be a shame to leave these offices, and we'll never come back to them in the capacity of an office anyway. So it's both happy and sad times for us, I think. Yes, I think that's probably the best thing that will come out of the fact that we won't be using the office any longer as offices, is the fact that the public will be able to get access to look at some of these rooms. They've remained unchanged since the day we moved into them, especially the private office, which is very much complete as to how it was in the 1800s. And for the public to be able to see them, to see these rooms, which they've never really, even on factory tours, we've never opened up these spaces to the public. So it'll be really good that they're looked after and they're maintained in the way they should be. At the moment we've got the men in one office and the women in the other office, and that's come about more by accident than by design. So the private office originally would have been the owners and the directors of the company, which originally would have been the Lee family. So originally would have been mostly men, but whoever was the owner of the company at the time. Then our previous owners, that was a man and a woman, and so they shared the private office. But the general office has always been anybody else working in a office capacity. So whether that's salespeople, marketing people, secretaries, people taking calls, and just at the moment it happens to be all women, so we look very old-fashioned, and we've got a man's office and a woman's office, and that will continue for a while, I think. So we moved in 1889, and from 1889 to today, these have been the offices, and they've been used as the offices. So that, you know, we're the end of a long line of people who've worked in these offices, and sometimes when you're the last person to leave the site at the end of a day, it does feel a bit of a weight that you know, everything that's gone before you, and we won't come back to them. So yeah, it's quite sad in a way. Yeah, there's a few ghosts in Middleport pottery, certainly. Well, so people say there's lots of stories of ghosts around and about the factory. There are certain people who report various things going on in this area of the factory. So Edmund Lee, who I've mentioned, was the second generation of the Lee family, but the first person really to take the helm on this site. There are reports that he might still be hanging around, even though he's long since departed the earth. Carol, who works with me in an administrative capacity, she's worked for the company for a long time, since she was in her 20s. With just a couple of breaks in between, so it's over 30 years to me, not wanting to reveal Carol's age, but there's lots of things to be discovered in these offices, but I think we know they're there, but we don't quite know what there is there. The private office is probably the most interesting, because there's cupboards there that are filled with the possessions of the Lee family. There's a lot of rubbish to move, but I suppose it's picking out what's important and what's not important, because I think the biggest thing is, and I think the Prince's Regeneration Trust have understood this very well, that history has created constantly, every day. Every piece of paper that we create here is a piece of paper which in 100 years might be very interesting, but it could easily be thrown away. What we've got here is a unique situation, that we've got Denby Pottery owning the company of Burley and the Prince's Regeneration Trust owning the factory site, and the two go very well together. You know, the building would not nearly be as important without having a ceramics manufacturer still using it as intended, and we would be nothing without the site, because it's the way we market our product. Everything is built around the historical aspect of Middleport pottery. It's crucial. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for somebody like the Prince's Regeneration Trust taking on this excuse me, taking on this building.